Hi guys, it's Fentony. This is the follow-up to the top 10 reunions video, which by the way has over 20,000 views. That is incredible for me. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to check out top 10 characters from season 7 that I did a few weeks ago. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. This video is going to be my top 10 meetings for season 7. And before we start, just to clarify, if they've met but never on screen, they can still be included on the list. As usual, just be careful for spoilers. Number 10, Jorah and Lyanna Mormont. These two are cousins. We all know Jorah's backstory and why he went into exile. So the lordship of Bear Island went to Lyanna's mother, and then to her. You gotta remember, Lyanna Mormont is 10 years old. That's the same age as Bran from season 1. Even though she's only young, Lyanna has shown great maturity and is a great leader of Bear Island. Jorah, on the other hand, is a disgraced member of House Mormont, so when he comes back to Westeros, that's if he cures his grayscale, which we know he will in a way, but that's not what this video is about. So, Jorah comes back to Westeros and is on Daenerys' side, and Lyanna is on Jon Snow's side. And when they eventually meet, Jorah and Lyanna could share some scenes together. How will Lyanna treat her cousin? He brought disgrace to the family. Lyanna Mormont is known for her sharp tongue. Just imagine the stuff she'll say to Jorah. Number 9, Jon Snow and Gendry, the two bastards. Robert's son and Ned's son. We all know Jon's true parentage, or we think we do, but really, no matter what happens, Jon will always be Ned's son. These two bastards could potentially be the last hope for House Stark and House Baratheon. We've seen Jon rise from the bastard of Winterfell to a member of the Night's Watch, to the Lord Commander, to the King in the North. Could we see Gendry follow a similar path, going from a bastard of Fleabottom to on the run from the Lannisters, and then from Stannis to possibly being legitimised? There's lots of theories that Daenerys might legitimise Gendry and restore House Baratheon, but we'll see how that plays out. And how will the Gendry and Arya relationship affect Jon Snow? There's always been something between Gendry and Arya. They are friends, but you know what I mean. Will Jon approve if they do eventually get together? Who knows? But two very popular bastards meeting up for the first time is gonna please a lot of folks. Number 8, Euron Greyjoy and Cersei Lannister. Cersei has cut herself off from the rest of the kingdom, really. The Tyrells were the Crown's biggest ally, but that alliance is obviously been destroyed. Cersei will need new allies, and she might get support from other houses that are still loyal to the Crown. But this is where Euron comes in. Euron planned to forge an alliance with Daenerys. He wanted to give her his ships and his large manhood, but Yara got there first, so that's a no-go. So Cersei is Euron's next choice, naturally. Cersei is currently queen, and she's had 3 children in the past. 4 if you include the Robert's son, but she has no heir. I don't think that's really on her mind at the moment. It's just survival, but she'll need to eventually marry somebody. Could Euron and Cersei get married, which would cement the Greyjoy and Lannister alliance? But we all know Euron Greyjoy and the Ironborn won't sell for second best. There's lots of theories out there that Euron is only going to use Cersei to get the Iron Throne for himself. We don't know how it's going to plan out, but I kind of feel that Euron has a chance of being the one to kill Cersei. She's well guarded though, and Euron hasn't had much screen time, but we'll see what season 7 has in store for him. Number 7, Jaime Lannister and Daenerys Targaryen. One word, Kingslayer. Jaime was sworn to protect Daenerys' father, Aerys Targaryen, and we all know how that went. Daenerys never believed what her father was really like, until recently. I think it was season 5 when Barristan Selmy told her the truth. She knows he was the Mad King, but he was still her father, and because of what happened to him and the rest of her family, she was forced to flee her home. Jaime was sworn to protect him, and even though Daenerys knows her father was the Mad King, it will be interesting to see how she treats Jaime. He swore an oath, and we know why he did it. He did it to save King's Landing, and perhaps he will tell her that. Number 6. Jon Snow and Jorah Mormont. Jorah is a son of Jorah Mormont, who was a Lord Commander of the Night's Watch and a mentor to Jon Snow. Jorah joined the Night's Watch and then gave the lordship of Bear Island to his son, and in turn their ancestral Valyrian steel sword, Longclaw. But when Jorah fled to Essos, he left Longclaw behind. Jorah gave the sword to Jon Snow for saving his life, but also because he's seen Jon as a successor, and perhaps like a son in a way. When you think of Jon Snow, Longclaw isn't far behind, and he'll need it, because we know Valyrian steel is one of the only things that can kill a White Walker. You never know, Jorah might tell Daenerys, if my father respected this man, perhaps we should give him a chance. Number 5. Melisandre and Daenerys Targaryen. In Essos, Daenerys went around Slaver's Bay and freed the slaves. Then she took up residence in the Great Pyramid of Meereen and declared herself queen. That's when the Red Priestesses, especially the High Priestess, Kinvara, started proclaiming Daenerys as the prince that was promised, or the one that was promised, as it's been called on the show. Melisandre, on the other hand, believes that Jon Snow is the prince, and she's been wrong before. She thought Stannis was. Melisandre might eventually meet up with Daenerys, and then she'll see her dragons and her immunity to fire. Then she might start having visions in the flames of Daenerys, which will make her even more confused. The prince that was promised, Azor Ahai, or all the other names it's known by, is a very mysterious subject. It could potentially be multiple people, and Jon and Daenerys could possibly be part of that. Number 4. Tormund Giantsbane and Sandor the Hound Clegane. These are two of my favourite characters. Both of them are big and they're badass. Who would win in a fight? That's a question for you guys. But really, I don't care about that. What I care about is these two guys in a chicken eating competition. Imagine it. Tormund versus the Hound. Who can eat the most chicken? The people of Westeros are gonna need badass warriors. And these two, you can't get any more badass. Number 3, Arya Stark and Daenerys Targaryen. There's no real connection between these characters, but I do believe that Daenerys and Arya will respect each other. Both of them have been told, you have to be this, you have to be that, you have to be a lady. And both of them have defied that and chose their own paths. Arya has chosen the path that she wanted. She never wanted to be a lady. She always wanted to wield a sword, fire a bow. And then Daenerys, back in season 1, she's told, you have to marry Khal Drogo, you have to do this, you have to do that. But eventually, she became a leader. She realised her brother was no dragon, and he would never become king, so she decided that she would have to become queen, and retake the Iron Throne. Along with Sansa, I believe these two could develop a little bit of a friendship, and over the last few seasons, the show has really made some strong female characters, and put them in positions of power. Number 2, Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen. This has always been a very popular choice. Jon and Daenerys are very popular characters, but there's more to it than that. We've always suspected that Jon Snow was really the son of Rhaegar Targaryen. So really, Jon is Daenerys' nephew. Daenerys is coming from Essos with a large army, and Jon in the north has a decent sized force. Daenerys wants the Iron Throne, Jon wants to fight the White Walkers, but Jon knows he can't do it alone. Expect him to come down from the north and meet Daenerys and her armies and tell them about the White Walkers. Perhaps he'll try and make an alliance. I do believe at the time neither of them will know that Jon is Rhaegar's son, which will make it much more interesting. Let's just hope these two haven't, done anything that family members should not. A Song of Ice and Fire. And there's lots of theories what that could mean. Could it mean these two? Could it mean dragons and White Walkers? Could it mean Jon Snow? It could mean lots of stuff. But these two are pretty much the main characters. And together, they might be the ones to defeat the White Walkers. Number 1, Daenerys Targaryen and Cersei Lannister. It was tough, but I chose this as my number 1. Two queens who have again been told they had to do this, they had to be that, they could not do what they wanted. I've already talked about Daenerys, but Cersei, she was told she has to marry Rhaegar, she has to marry Robert, she has to marry Loras. Cersei is a survivor, and she's been through a lot. She's lost everything, and all she has left is the Iron Throne, and she won't give it up without a fight. Daenerys has a larger force and 3 dragons. And what does Cersei have? The Lannister army, it's suffered lots of casualties over the years of war. Could wildfire play a factor? I don't know if Daenerys will be able to survive that. That's another question for you. And how will Jon Snow affect this? He's going to come down, saying we need to fight the White Walkers together. Daenerys might be more keener than Cersei. You've got to remember, Daenerys has Tyrion on her side. And we all know how Cersei feels about him. Lots of people think Cersei's going to die in Season 7, but I'm not too sure. I don't think Daenerys is just going to come in and steamroll her way to the Iron Throne. She could potentially send her dragons in and beat Cersei, no problem, but think of the destruction that would cause, and how the people of Westeros would feel about Daenerys. Perhaps Cersei will use that to her advantage, who knows, but when these two finally meet, it's going to be a big scene. So that's my top 10 character meetings for Season 7. Let me know which characters you're looking forward to finally meeting. I would appreciate it if you could like this video, subscribe to stay up to date, and check out these 2 videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.